Hey everyone, today we're going to be looking at the Android light meter app. We're going to be looking at how to use it, if it's accurate, and if in the age of digital video and false colour that it's even useful. What if there was a better, more scientific way of setting your exposure levels? Quick history lesson for those of you under 30. In the olden days, people used to shoot on film. Film cameras couldn't tell you about exposure. There was no live monitoring, and the only way you knew if your shot was exposed correctly was to use a light meter. The gaffer or cinematographer would input known parameters into the light meter, such as film ASA or ISO today, and frame rate and shutter speed. The light meter will then tell you which f-stop or t-stop you need to be at to get correct exposure. You could then, using a little bit of exposure math, work out how much darker you wanted your shadows to be, based on whatever you set your key at. So back to the app. There's two main ways of using the light meter app. There's sensor mode, which uses the light sensor on the front of your phone, and the other mode is camera mode, which uses the camera on your phone, obviously. Today we're just going to be using the sensor mode, because I have never ever and never will trust a smartphone camera. This is your main menu screen. For the sake of this, we're going to go into the sensor meter. This is where you can set your ISO. You've got a whole choice there from 1 all the way up to 500,000. You can set your angle, which for video is what we use, although you can change that over to shutter speed if that's what you prefer. And then lastly, we've got FPS. I believe you can set custom values for all of these, so if a value isn't listed, you can change it in the settings and put on a value that you do want. And what this is going to do is, because we've told it that we want to know what RF value should be or T value should be, this is the thing that's going to change constantly. So if I cover that F value will drop right down to 0.5, see? And then when it's in the light, it goes back up to 1.2. First, I'm going to set the camera to T2.8 and light how I normally would. Then I'm going to relight it using only the light meter as my guidance, and I'm going to see what the difference is. So here we go. This is what I ended up with, just lighting how I normally would, although I didn't use false colour for this. I'm just using the monitor on top of the camera, which does have like a histogram, but it's not the best. So I'm sort of lighting by monitor, if you like, which is not the best thing to do, but we're winging it for the sake of this experiment. So I've pushed the key light round a little bit that way, and I've pushed the fill light back quite a lot, and then thrown some diffusion over the top. So this is what we end up with when I'm just sort of winging it. Let's see what it does with the light meter. There's no way that's a stop, is it? Maybe I'm an idiot. Hey! Hey. Do a focus pull. Can't, it's on autofocus mode, whatever. T2 or F2. So this is what we end up with when we're just using the light meter to light the shot. This is key side at F2.8 and shadow side is at F2. This is all completely arbitrary. I just wanted to see how well the light meter worked. As you can tell, this is a lot brighter than the image of me just winging it. So the question is, would I recommend the app? I think so. I don't know necessarily how I'd use it all the time. I don't think I would use it all the time. I think it'd slow things down quite a lot. It is quite awkward using the phone. You'll see me like trying to get it in the position. I think realistically, if you're doing jobs where it makes sense, get a proper light meter that does things legitimately. But if you need to double check yourself, or if you're unsure about what you're doing, then definitely the app for the light meter is really useful, it would appear. So yeah, why not? Give it a go. It's free as well, so fuck it, why not?